Hey, welcome to Left Night with Kendra Dawsey, and here's your host, Kendra Dawsey.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Zach. How are you doing this fine Wednesday evening?
Hi, Kendra. I'm doing pretty good myself, actually.
That's good.
I made a big old meatloaf and ate too much of it. Now I'm a little tired, but we're powering through.
Oh, you got the itis?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I feel kind of unsure about whether or not I'm allowed to say I got the itis, but it seems like I shouldn't be able to. But
I could tell you that you got the itis.
You can diagnose me with the itis. I cannot say it myself. I think that's a fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that works. What'd you put in the meatloaf?
Okay. We're just giving out recipes here. Okay. No, so I use ground beef. I used adobo seasoning. I used onion, carrot, and celery, and then like a ton of breadcrumbs, and then just 2 eggs for a binding agent.
Nice. Okay, that's pretty good. All right.
Yes.
Is that also your mom's meatloaf recipe, or?
No, my mom didn't really cook meatloaf growing up.
Okay.
It's sort of something that's just like it's an easy thing to do, and I've sort of figured it out on my own.
Cool. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, we didn't eat a lot of the traditional American type of stuff growing up. We ate a lot of pasta.
Because you're a paisan.
Yes. We ate a lot of dirty paisan food. Not a lot of like meatloafs or casseroles or things of that nature.
Damn. I don't think paisans are dirty. That's
okay.
Reclaiming that slur or not the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, first of all, I didn't ask you what you ate for dinner. So.
Oh, I had a slice of pizza from Two Boots.
Two Boots, the classic New York pizza chain named after Italy and Louisiana.
Yes. Yes. But I do like it. It's good.
Yeah, I've had it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that we've discussed dinner, and if you had anything for dinner or you haven't had dinner yet, let us know in the chat. Get those dinners going in the chat. But I know that's not what we came here to discuss. So, Kendra, what is on your mind this week?
Well, I will tell you what's on my mind this week, and I think it's also on your mind as well, Zach. But also, we could have the little picture on me. Well, Zach will probably come back for a little bit, but I don't know if y'all have heard, but the governor of Texas basically did legalize, allegedly, we're looking into it, legalize human trafficking, sending a group of people who were in the governor of Florida sent a group of people who were in San Antonio, Texas, to Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts on taxpayers' dimes and lied to them about what was expected there, where they were going. They got off the plane and they were like, "Where are we?" He used taxpayer money, and I think what he wanted to have happen is I think Ron DeSantis wanted to prove that people up here were also mean to immigrants, which can be true. But that's not what happened at Martha's Vineyard. I think some people have jokingly said Martha's Vineyard is harsh lawyer island, which it is during the summer. I think now it's more working class people. Of course, the working class people were like, wow, this sucks that you were lied by a government official for political pawns and you're suddenly in a place that you don't know. Let's get you some food, shelter, water. Let's help you out. And then let's get you resettled in a place that actually has jobs. Martha's Vineyard does not really have too many jobs in the outside of the tourist season. And now lawyers are like, is this legal? Let's check. So now they are researching it. I mean, it's clear that these people were lied to. They weren't even told their final destination. And it's kind of I guess it's bizarre that Ron DeSantis, who Rachel wants to parody, thought this would work. Zach, what's your take? What's your take on this?
So yes, it is bizarre. There's a lot of things going on here. It's bizarre. First of all, it's probably it's immoral, if not legal. I don't know what the legal there. There's very few laws preventing you from being a weirdo and running the government like a complete freak.
Yeah, regardless of legality of it, it is a bad thing to do. We just want to unequivocally left Nite does not support taking migrants from one place, putting them on a plane, and being like, "Hey, where we're going, you'll have all this jobs and food and stuff," and then not providing that when you send them there. There should be many steps. Right. There was a huge lack of consent. We do not support it.
Right. Forcibly moving groups of people is there's all kinds of things of why that's not okay. And I've seen a lot of Republicans. The Republicans have gone really into the deep end trying to explain why this is cool and normal. And actually, there's two ways of it's either actually they actually did exactly what we thought they were going to do, or this is actually not any different than what the federal government does which. First of all, the federal government does place people in cities. That's sure that does happen, and it makes sense. And you understand. It's not hard to understand why they would rather do that than have everybody hanging out directly across the border. Yeah. But also, I don't. It's extremely different than lying to people and creating. Manufacturing a crisis. Yes. And also, the federal government also sucks. They also have a bad, we don't talk about kids in cages anymore, but it's still a pretty, maybe with more emphasis on making sure the parents are in the same cage as the kids, but it's still a thing. It's still it has not. One
thing I will say is that I think Ron DeSantis and the federal government suck for the same reason. I mean, yes, they suck for the same reason. It's the racism and the cruelty that goes into people just trying to cross a border for a better life. And I think Ron DeSantis was trying to point out a hypocrisy on the part of some people, but it's what you did was ultra bad, but also we could also hate what the federal government is doing. Those aren't incompatible thoughts.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And also even if people acted the same, the way that he wanted them to act or whatever, that doesn't not make him an asshole. And the federal government, has not had a meaningful response to this. We don't have a good immigration policy. The U.S. spent under the Biden administration, a ton of that Trump border wall has been built, and you saw Biden's press secretary today. Deciding, which is the other thing about this that I thought was very fascinating, is that these immigrants were Venezuelan, and the American line on Venezuela for the past, going on 8-9 years now is these people are victims of socialism, and we need to sanction them more, and we were close to doing a coup there, and we have to try to do another coup. And it's interesting to see I don't think I think it's not surprising that as soon as the rubber hit the road, like conservatives didn't care about that at all. Yeah. But it's interesting to wonder why they did not care. Is like, have they sort of given up on the whole coup game in general, or are they done pretending that any of this is political? And it's like, it's not about ideology. It's like purely about, the color of your skin now. It's not clear why they're like that, but they clearly don't care about that part of it the way that they once did. And so now the Democrats are sort of taking over with that. And so the Biden's press secretary was talking about how, these are victims of communism that are coming, which, first of all, they're victims of America. Second, Venezuela is not a communist country. It has a sort of a complicated, Bolivarian legal system. It's more like, it's closer to like what would happen if a socialist party took the majority in the U.S., where like they wouldn't make the U.S. a socialist country. It would be heavily reformist, but it would be, and just like for this press secretary to be like name dropping like Nicaragua and Venezuela and Cuba in the middle of like, if you wanted to, like Puerto Rico, this is like something we were going to talk about in the next slot, but Puerto Rico is devastated by a huge hurricane right now, and if you just want to like look at in terms of like Puerto Rico versus Cuba in terms of like vulnerability to hurricanes is a very similar. Like they're very similar, and if you just look at how what Cuba does when there's a hurricane versus what American, both in the United States and in our especially in our territories, though, like what the disaster response is there versus Cuba, like why are you slinging like criticisms at them when there's a thing you're clearly not doing right now that you could if you wanted to do something about like, like people are suffering. No, people are suffering in Puerto Rico right now. Right. Yes. And yeah.
You're right. Yeah. It's people are suffering right now. Like, and they are technically part of a capitalist nation, and they are not faring any better. A lot. I mean, I know we've all seen a rise of this, but like people being like, oh, like, man, I can't believe like we ran out of this at the grocery store. This happens in communist nations. It's like, no, this is happening in America. It's happening right now. It's happening in California.
Yeah.
But like I get like Puerto Rico is definitely, I mean, Americans' foreign policy has been awful, obviously. Mm-hmm. Puerto Rico is really like they have just been colonized like so blatantly by us, and we're just we don't care because it's like we're not going to let them try to be a state because it's mostly Spanish speaking people, and all Republicans in Congress are going to be like, we don't want that.
But also they shouldn't want that themselves because I mean, in terms of, I mean, we have jailed any, Puerto Rican freedom fighters or, like that. We've kind of like cut the movement. So I think like a lot of people in Puerto Rico now are probably like, oh, well, the thing that if things suck as a colony, it might make sense to try to be a state, like next best thing. But of course, that's not great. The situation in Puerto Rico just very much right. And even like in like the absence of even if Puerto Rico were to achieve independence, like unless they're willing to, do like sort of like Cuban revolutionary levels of like cutting off American companies from like seizing the assets of American companies on the island to put the island's energy and exports and everything back into the hands of the people who live there. First of all, the U.S. would not let them do that with military might. but like in absence of doing that, you don't create any sort of you're still being exploited, and then you get into you become more similar to like Haiti than you do to Cuba. So and then they would get told, oh, they should have stayed a colony because they can't run things themselves, when in fact like they've never had control even in this hypothetical where they're independent.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, Haiti has never been treated on the same level as any other nation, because it's been like like internationally, because they are a nation that was explicitly formed from a slave revolt. So France was like, oh, you need to pay all those slave owners back.
Right.
And they owe so much money from that racist, beginning.
Right. So, and there was also like a 20-year span in the 20th century where like the U.S. declared Haiti an American territory. So like, yeah. So yeah, it's been So yeah, that's why like it's really it's very silly to call places like Venezuela or Nicaragua or Cuba like, oh, they're failing or this or that, because their entire existence is antagonistic towards the U.S. and those powers, and I always thought that I'm not smart enough to write about it, but if you were to take that sort of just like line of countries and territories across the Caribbean there, where you go like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Cuba, and just in terms of like how the U.S. relations to them and how their relations to their own control, like control of their own destiny, like how that influences, and if you look at it in that context, I don't think you could come to another conclusion other than like Cuba is the one that you would most want for everything else about it and for everything that the U.S. does to them. The one you would most want to be would be Cuba. I don't think that would be particularly hard to debate.
Yeah. I realize we're 20 minutes in talking about these, which obviously, it's a big thing, but we started talking about things. We're going to pause for a very different in terms of tone commercial break and then come right back.
Hey, Bob. Yeah. What happened to the young lady juror who was in the front row?
She had to be replaced with an alternate. She was nuts. She told everybody in the jury that she was a goblin and that she slept with the judge, the second chair prosecution, and you.
Oh, that's crazy.
I do love Search Party. That was a great season of Search Party.
Okay. I did not know about R.I.P. Louis Anderson, though.
I know. Yeah. That was like, I think that was one of the last roles I saw him in. No, that's great. That's great that he was able to be on the show. Anyway. So yeah, things are happening in the news. We talked about Puerto Rico. It has like the power's out for a lot of the island. It's been very heavily flooded. If you know of any relief efforts that, prioritize Puerto Rican residents, and it's not like the Red Cross where they're actually going to like pay someone in administration and then send, like give 3 cents towards like fixing a well or something, let us know, because that is that's important. And people in Puerto Rico obviously deserve better. I think we like fucked up their electric system by like privatizing it, and privatization, and then this is the second hurricane that has hit the island in the past. I mean, at least the second. It's probably been more, but like second large hurricane, and there's probably going to be more because of climate change. And if Puerto Rico, as a punishment to us, wants to like blast reggaeton in the ears of each American citizen for like 10 years straight, I would understand. Like I say we, but like the U.S. government. I'm not part of the U.S. government has like continuously screwed over.
What? I don't think do they listen to reggaeton there? Or what's Puerto Rican?
Yeah, I thought reggaeton was Puerto Rican.
I thought reggaeton
Not
was
everywhere, but I thought it was originally I'm gonna look it up. I'm like, where did reggaeton?
Yeah. I don't know what they listen to in Puerto Rico. I mean, obviously, Daddy Yankee, but other than that.
So reggaeton is a musical style from Puerto Rico that was influenced by reggae and español in Panama. Also hip hop, also dance hall, bomba, and I don't know what all of those music, but yes, I do.
Yes,
I love
and
it.
Now that I think about it, Daddy Yankee should change his name to Daddy Independent, because they should not be trying to some damn American stuff. They should be their own thing.
Daddy Yankee was born. He was born in San Juan. So.
Yeah. How about Daddy Sovereign or Daddy Autonomous?
Oh my god.
Those are better options.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I want to address what's going on in the chat. First of all, if there's anything you want us to talk about, I know we're running out of time, but please put it in the chat. Rachel said that she knew a Puerto Rican resident that lost their disability when they moved home. Yeah, that sucks. Again, it's very silly, and silly is not the right word for it, but it's a very unjust system that we have going on down there with their status. And Rachel also said she had a protein bar for dinner, which you got to eat more than that. Come on.
True. Protein bars are a snack. Get some carbs in there.
Yes. Get something. You'll feel better. And Pfeiffer says the bad news doesn't end. This is true. But we could talk about something good. Starbucks is recognizing the union that has been on strike for 60 plus days on Commonwealth Avenue.
Oh, amazing. Honestly, fuck. I round up a fucking applause to them. That's amazing.
So, yes. So, yes, they were trying to it had to do with something about like shift minimums where the Starbucks was trying to enforce mandatory shift minimums onto unionized employees, which is not any part of the CBA that was signed between the Starbucks unionized Starbucks members and the and Starbucks. So when they tried to do that in that store, they walked off, and guess what? Eventually, it took 60 days, but they got what they deserved, and good for them.
Yes, we're proud of you. We're proud of you, Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe Biden was like, "Oh yeah, the pandemic is over," and then everyone was mad.
Yeah, Joe Biden said the pandemic was over on 60 Minutes, right?
I think so. Yeah. It does not seem to be. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
So the next booster's out. I got it. I felt gross. Like the day after I got it, I felt pretty bad. But then I slept. I think his messaging being like the pandemic is over is going to influence people to not do anything, not practice any sort of like mitigation efforts at a time where like we should keep them in because
I mean, maybe, but also
I don't know.
We don't have any mitigation efforts anymore.
Yeah, part of that is because of his government, but
right. No, yes. I mean but I don't think it changes that much him saying that, because there hasn't been mitigation efforts in months now. And also, I don't think anybody listens to the president. What's that?
I hope they don't, because
Right. I think people have either, I think half the people have been maybe not half, but like some portion of the people have like been doing their own thing for like months now because there are no guidelines anymore, and then like half the people like think that Joe Biden like drinks the blood of babies or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think those people were going to be influenced at all by what he said about the pandemic in 2022. So
you're not wrong.
It's not. I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse to say that none of it matters, but I don't know if any of it matters.
It makes me feel bad, but it's fine. It's okay.
Okay. Pfeiffer in the chat saying, I hope that Howard Schultz gets what he deserves next. And I just want to, if we want to be optimistic, Hillary Clinton wanted Howard Schultz to be her Secretary of Labor. So it's hard to say if this is the worst possible timeline. It's not a great one, but there are always things that could have gone more bleakly terrible. So at least, for whatever you say about Marty Walsh, and believe me, I can say a lot about him. He is not the CEO of a large coffee chain running the Department of Labor.
And then Pfeiffer also said, as a teacher crammed into a building with 1,000 kids and optional mask, I've given up. I am sorry that you were forced into those awful conditions and what is still an airborne pandemic. School started, and I already know kids not who are sick with COVID, but like kids just spread germs.
They're filthy.
And it's we just need to. That's not it's not saying like kids are bad. They're cute. They're lovable. They just don't have immune systems yet, so they're gonna get any fucking germ that goes in their face.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No. That is kids, and and the winter is always worse for any sort of sickness. So.
Yep. So
let's see.
Get flu shots. Get whatever shots you need. Get some HEPA filters. I have some here.
Yeah. Some vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Do whatever it takes. Don't listen to Joe Biden. Anyway, we are over time, or slightly over time. I mean, like by 10 seconds. But everyone, thank you for viewing. Thank you for just trying your best in these times with us. Please stick around for Rachel Jane Andelman's honorable mentions with Adi Heller. Wait, I went to some other district that was having a flu. Okay, got shot up, but like with antibodies, right? No one was like shot. I just want to make sure.
I'm going to say that it's with antibodies.
Okay,
by context.
I hope no one was suffered from a drive-by shooting. Stick around, and we will see you next week.